There comes a moment no one prepares you for. Not during your healing, not during your awakening, not even during your collapse. It happens after the insights, after the tears, after the letting go. You wake up one morning, and something inside you feels completely gone, not broken, not raw, just empty. Not the kind of emptiness you run from, but the kind that stares back at you like a mirror. And for the first time, you wonder, did I lose something? Or did I just lose myself? Carl Jung never called it this, but those who have walked this road know it well. It's the void between who you were and who you're becoming. The quiet death of your old self. Not because you chose to let go, but because the self you once clung to no longer fits the shape of your soul. This isn't depression. This isn't apathy. This is the soul's dark in-between. The sacred confusion between awakening and embodiment, where meaning dissolves before it rebuilds itself through you. And if you're here right now, if this feels eerily accurate, it's not a coincidence you found this video. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're in the middle of your becoming. Most people think a spiritual awakening is a destination, some final state of peace or enlightenment. They imagine radiant clarity, a new chapter where the chaos ends and everything finally makes sense. But awakening is not the mountaintop. It's the earthquake that shatters the illusion that there ever was one. It's the breakdown that comes after years of spiritual bypassing. The moment you stop trying to be good and start trying to be whole. Because the truth is, awakening doesn't give you a new identity. It strips you of all the ones you borrow just to feel safe. Suddenly, the job doesn't matter. The relationship feels empty. The dream life you once chased feels like it belongs to someone else. You wake up one morning, and everything you built your life around just doesn't land anymore. You don't feel inspired. You don't feel productive. You don't even feel like you. That's not failure. That's the fire. This is what Carl Jung meant when he said, enlightenment is not imagining figures of light, but making the darkness conscious. Everyone wants the light. No one wants to sit in the dark long enough to actually meet themselves. But this phase, this emptiness, it's not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a conversation you've never had with the parts of you you buried just to survive. And those parts, they won't scream. They won't perform. They whisper. They test your patience, your honesty, your willingness to feel without fixing, to observe without escaping. And if you can stay long enough in this quiet ache, you'll notice something remarkable. You're not breaking. You're breaking open. So what exactly are you supposed to do when everything you believed in suddenly dissolves? When the rituals stop working, the mentors feel shallow, and the books that once lit your soul on fire now feel like empty words. You don't need more answers. You need permission. Permission to grieve. Not just the people you lost or the jobs you left, but the version of you who truly believed all of that was going to save you. You're not lazy. You're in recovery from years of overgiving, overperforming, over-explaining your worth just to feel accepted. You're in recovery from being everything for everyone, except yourself. This phase, where nothing inspires you, where your purpose feels like a lie, where you wake up with a heavy chest and no map forward, this is the cocoon, not the cage. You're not behind. You're in between the identity that was manufactured for survival and the one that's waiting to be discovered in stillness. This in-between is sacred, but society doesn't honor it because it doesn't produce. It doesn't hustle. It doesn't make sense on a resume. But make no mistake, this is the deepest work you'll ever do. It's the undoing, where you stop chasing validation and start listening to the voice you silenced the longest, your own. Carl Jung understood this liminal space well. He called it the night sea journey, a descent into the unconscious, where meaning is reshaped from the inside out. And while others may look at your quietness and assume you're lost, you're actually closer to your truth than you've ever been. You're not lost. You're remembering. But here's the part that no one prepares you for. When you finally stop searching outward, you don't immediately find peace. You find resistance. Your nervous system, long addicted to chaos, will quietly panic in the silence. Your ego, used to chasing approval, will scream for distraction. And the world, oh, the world will offer you thousands of shiny exit doors. A new identity, a spiritual trend, a dopamine hit disguised as growth. But this is where the real path begins. Not in what you seek, but in what you're willing to sit with. Because in this sacred pause, you will finally hear the whispers beneath your wounds, the voice you buried under perfectionism, the truth you numbed with productivity, and it won't speak in grand revelations. It'll speak in trembles, gut pulls, strange dreams, and subtle feelings that don't fit into language yet. Jung warned us that the modern individual is terrified of their own soul, that we run from the inner life because it threatens the lies we've built our lives upon. But if you're here, listening, it means the chase didn't work. And maybe you're ready, not to find the answers, but to hold space for the unraveling. Because true awakening isn't glamorous. It's not a montage of breathwork and sunsets. It's the moment you admit you don't know who you are anymore. And for the first time, you're not trying to fix that. You're just watching, feeling, breathing, letting the old versions die without rushing to rebirth a new one. And that, right there, is where everything starts to shift, not with force, but with surrender. So, what now? What do you do in this in-between space, where your old motivations feel fake and your new ones haven't shown up yet? Where the people around you still speak the language of ambition and appearances, and you're craving something slower, deeper, but you can't yet name it? You let the disorientation be your teacher. You don't try to escape the fog. You learn to see in it, because as Jung hinted, this is when the self begins to communicate. Not the self you curated for the world, but the one buried beneath all performance. And it doesn't use words. It uses pattern, symbol, energy. A song you can't stop playing, a memory that won't leave, a stranger's eyes that feel like home, a quote that hits harder than it should. The self will start showing you breadcrumbs, but only if you slow down enough to notice them. And this is where many turn back, because the ego hates stillness. The ego thrives in effort and clarity. It wants a plan, a goal, a title. But the soul wants presence. It wants to feel real, not look healed. And it knows, the deeper the silence, the louder the truth. So don't rush to rebuild. Don't scramble to declare who you are now. Let it come slowly, honestly, like a poem revealing itself one line at a time. This isn't regression. This isn't failure. This is alchemy, the dissolving of the false, so something timeless can emerge. And the more you resist, the longer it lasts. But the moment you surrender, not in apathy, but in reverence, the next phase begins. And it's nothing like the stories. It's quieter, gentler, truer. You won't even notice the shift when it happens. There won't be fireworks, no aha moment, no grand announcement that the fog is lifted. Instead, it'll be something small. You'll wake up and not feel the usual dread. You'll walk outside and the air will taste a little sweeter. You'll say no to something that used to hook you, and you won't feel guilty for it. That's the beginning of the rebuild, the reweaving of identity. But this time, you're not performing. You're not trying to be someone. You're simply responding to what feels real. Your soul doesn't need a personal brand. It needs integrity, congruence, the kind of alignment you feel in your bones, even if no one claps for it. This is where real confidence grows, not from affirmation, but from knowing deeply that you're no longer betraying yourself. You stop chasing people. You stop over-explaining. You stop arguing with reality. Because the energy it takes to defend your old identity is now fueling the creation of something truer. Your presence sharpens. Your language softens. You walk into a room and people feel the difference, even if they can't name it. This is the phase where people start asking, what happened to you? Why do you seem so calm? And you won't have a clean answer, because it wasn't one thing. It was all the moments you didn't run, all the nights you let the ache breathe, all the choices you made without applause. It was your becoming, quiet, messy, sacred, and the best part, you're not even done. This wasn't a destination. It was a remembering of the you that existed before the world told you who to be. That part never left. It was just waiting for you to stop pretending. You thought spiritual awakening would feel like light, but the real truth, it often feels like death. Because to awaken is to grieve, not just people, but patterns, not just relationships, but illusions, not just pain, but the version of you who found safety in it. You will look back at old pictures and barely recognize the smile, not because it was fake, but because even in joy you were asleep. And now, you can't go back. The door has closed behind you. You could try to reattach, reperform, replease, but it would feel like swallowing ash. This is the price of awareness, and the freedom of it too. Because even though you're walking through fog, you're finally walking forward, not spinning in loops, not pretending, not running, just moving, raw, real, and quietly divine. And slowly, the loneliness becomes solitude. The confusion becomes curiosity. The fear becomes a teacher, not a master. That's the moment you realize the void isn't the end. It's the womb. A sacred in-between space where what's dying and what's being born coexist. And you? You're the bridge, the alchemist, the one brave enough to stay when everything in you wanted to disappear. That's not weakness. That's power. That's God-level resilience. And if no one told you this lately, you're doing it. Not perfectly, not painlessly, but precisely as you were meant to. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are remembering. And the soul you think you lost, she's not gone. She's waiting at the next breath, the next boundary, the next honest yes. Stay with it. This is the homecoming, and you are almost there. If this reached a place inside you that words usually can't touch, don't scroll past it. This isn't just another video. It's a mirror. Write it below. I'm not lost. I'm remembering, not for comments, but for yourself, to mark this moment. Like the video to anchor this truth in your body. Subscribe not for content, but for clarity. For the voice that knows your awakening isn't chaos, but calling. This is Unshadowed, where awakening souls come to remember. And if you know someone still running from their own depth, send them this, because the ones who feel the most lost are often the ones closest to their light. We'll see you in the next remembering.